The next representation that we're going to learn for finding the slope from is going to be from a table. So remember that a table is just giving me specific points from my line from the graph. Okay, so this isn't going to be too big of a stretch from what you've already learned. So if you want to see what this line looks like, then I would just look at each line in my table and plot those points. So 0, -4 is right here. 2, -3, let's see, is right there. 4, -2 is right here. And 6, -1 is right here. So like I said, these points are just giving me a few specific points from this line. Now, you know how to find the slope of a line by looking at the graph. And a lot of times that might be a good way for you to find the slope from a table, is to do the graph. But sometimes it's not going to be good, because what if you draw your line incorrectly, or what if the points aren't in this perfect little graph here? So I'm going to show you how to do it without graphing it first. So we need to remember the slope formula, which is, remember, slope is abbreviated by the variable m. The formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So in other words, we're finding the difference, or the distance between two of the y coordinates and the distance between two of the x coordinates. So we can choose any 2 points from this table, because it doesn't matter which points we choose, we'll always get the same slope. And then we're going to plug those points into the formula. So it's usually easiest to choose the top 2, because they're usually the smallest numbers. So let's just go with these ones. We're going to call this point number 1 and this point number 2. Now, since this is an x column, that means this 0 is x1, 1 because it's my first point. And this point, since it's my second point, this one's x2. Now on the y column, since this is my first point, this is y1. And if this is my second point in the y column, this is y2. Now I simply just need to plug these numbers in to my formula. So let's see what that looks like. We have y2, which is -3, minus y1, which is -4. Now remember, keep in mind that I kept the minus sign there, and then it was a -4. So it looks weird, but this is right. We have a minus, a -4. And then on the bottom we have x2, which is 2, minus x1, which is 0. We've got all the numbers plugged in, so now let's just figure out what this all equals. So -3 minus a -4. When you see 2 minus signs right next to each other, we can just turn that into a giant plus sign, because subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. So -3 plus 4 is 1. 2 minus 0 is 2. So that means the slope of the line that's represented in the table is 1/2. Now if you wanted to check your answer with a graph, that might be a good idea. Remember to use the graph we do, rise over run. So if I choose these 2 points, here's my triangle. The rise is a +1, the run is a +2. So checking my answer, looks like I got it right. The slope of the line that's represented in this table is 1/2.